Good morning. Today I'm going to try to take some boxwood cuttings and see if I can get them to root. I am going to use peat moss for my rooting medium, and then I have some rooting hormone. So what I'm going to do is take some little cuttings, but first I'm going to prepare this tray. So I've got some peat moss down here, a little scoop, and I'm just going to try to fill this up. The nice thing about a boxwood is boxwood are an evergreen, so it's gonna like the peat moss, which is more of an acidy mixture for them to thrive. And I'm just reusing some old containers I'm out in the potting area today. I'm just gonna push this in a little bit, see what I can get it leveled off. I'm going to probably pre-moisten this a little bit because it is peat moss. Peat moss does tend to take a little bit to hydrate. Not everybody has a greenhouse, so this is a good way to show people how you can use a corner of your yard that you maybe don't usually use, and just be efficient with the space and the items that you have, which I think is always important. I'm going to let this soak in for a little bit and then I'll be back. Hi. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cuttings and I'm going to remove the stuff that I don't need. You want to make sure that you're taking good healthy cuttings first of all. Little bee. Outside nature. Nature is here with me. I'm going to take, so this is it's a hardwood kind of, it's semi-hardwood. So you can see how bendy this green tip is. And then this is a semi-hardwood. I'm going to take a bunch of cuttings and then I'll just kind of pick through them and decide which ones I think semi-hardwood are usually the better ones to try to do this with. So that is what I will do. Take a bunch of cuttings, and then this little shrub needed to be pruned anyway. This is going to be for a landscape project I'm doing in the future. So to be able to get some cuttings and get some extra, I gotta prune this anyway. So I'll just go ahead and just cut a bunch of branches and just make this easier to deal with. I'm just randomly cutting. I'm not being really critical about it. Sometimes people get really picky. It's not really that necessary. We'll see. We'll move this to the side. And then I'm going to remove some of these. This is too much. So what happens when you do cuttings is they tend to transpire and they lose a lot of their moisture. So you really want to make sure you're removing the extra foliage that you don't need. So we're only going to leave a little bit on the top, and I'm going to strip the rest of this. Then what I will do is I will take I have a bucket of water here. I will take the bucket of water. I'll dip the tip of this in, and then I am going to just dip it in the compound. And this is so light that I'm not going to worry about a dibble to make a hole. So I'm going to continue to strip these cuttings down. I'm going to do a variety of semis and maybe some little bit tougher ones. I want to get a bin to put my scrap in so I don't have such a mess to clean up later. So I reuse pots as much as possible. Make some additional hedge lines. This is a Wintergreen boxwood. I'm in zone 4. It's one of the only ones that will do really well in this zone. So now that I've removed all of the lower leaves, I'm going to just simply bundle them together like this. And you can see some of them are pretty green versus being the semi-hardwood, but that's okay. It's a kind of a long one. We'll get that out of there for right now. And I'm going to just get as many as I can into these trays, into this tray, and then we're just going to see what happens. Eventually, if I have a greenhouse at some point, it'll be indoors, but for right now, I'm kind of in an open air area, the best I can do. A lot of people don't have greenhouses. They have to work with what they've got. Bundle, bundle, bundle. I'll set these aside. Alright, get my rooting compound ready. I am going to take these, I'm going to dip it in this water, and then I am going to put these in the compound. Try to make sure I get it down in there and get them well coated, hopefully. And this is just a standard rooting compound you can get from any big box area. And I'm just going to shove these down in. I'm not even going to use a dibble or anything. Some people don't even use rooting compound for these because they root usually pretty easily, but we'll find out what happens. I'll give it a month or so, and I'll take a look at it then. I'll keep them wet, well watered. I'll try to keep them out of the sun. I'll put them in a shady location, and then we'll see how it goes. Nothing else, I'll be able to maybe try a winter sowing, which what I do is I go into one of my vegetable garden beds. I have raised beds, and when I remove the vegetables from it, I want to reuse the soil, do something productive with it over the winter, and I'll take cuttings of different shrubs or something I want to try as an experiment over the winter, and I kind of set it and forget it. And I did that with some shrubs last year, and it worked really well. So that made me really happy. So this is just kind of a fun little experiment. Again, this is 100% peat moss, which this is a boxwood is an evergreen, so it will like the acid that it would get from the peat moss. I'll put some more in. Just gonna shove them down in there. I'm going to keep it in a tray to help hold the moisture. If I get too much moisture, then I'll lift it out. We're just going to keep gathering these up, dipping it in the water, and then dusting it with this hormone best that I can. Boxwoods are supposed to be some of the easiest shrubs to take cuttings from, so hopefully we'll find out how I do. Again, removing some of the leaves. I probably should remove more than what I did on these other ones, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Again, I'm outside. It's late August. It's late August. Early autumn for us, seasonally speaking, because we're in a zone 4, which gets really cold. Right outside of Minneapolis. Well, that one I didn't dip. I may top this with a little bit of builder sand too to add grit to try to help hold the moisture in the top as well. But the big thing for me is to get this started, and I'm just going to give it a quick drink. We'll give it a quick drink in this. Again, just some garden hose with a shower setting, just to give it a little light drizzle. And what I will do is I will let it set in this tray. This particular tray retains water, so we'll let it set there because it will help, especially because the peat moss is new and it's going to take a little bit to absorb the moisture. stick around or subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do some updates and we'll see how things go. Sometimes it's nice to see what works and what doesn't. Hello everyone, I'm back checking on my boxwood cuttings that I took about 2 months ago. They all look good, they all look alive. I did flip one over. You can see there's just a little bit of root on it, not a lot. So I'm going to try to pop these cells out and I'm going to put them in this garden bed for the winter. This is a wintergreen boxwood. So I'm going to try to take some more cuttings and see if I can get it to work. I bought quite a few boxwood plants earlier, but I need to have more than what I got, so I figured I'd try to propagate if I could make that happen. Use it here, see if we can some of them to come out. Looks like for the most part they're going to come out with just the stems, which is fine. Because I have all winter to get them to root and take hold, and I've had some good luck doing that before. So yeah, the roots are not, I tried tugging at it a little bit, are not overly formed, so these ones probably take a lot more time than what I gave it. So again, it's been 8 weeks, but it took it in the fall. If I'd taken it in the spring when it's probably more apt to grow, they probably would have rooted really well, but it should root easy. It should root easy, and I'm just going to make a trench here. I'm going to put them about 2 inches apart. I'm going to dip them in some rooting hormone, and I'm just going to go right into the ground with them. It'll be simple to do. And I'll put a tag so I remember what it is, and we'll go from there. So, get my rooting compound open. There's just really fine roots on this, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm just going to kind of lay them across the trench. Water, rooting hormone, lay it down. Water, rooting hormone, lay it down. It's just a fast way to do it. There's a few little roots on some of them I'm seeing, but they're just really not, they're not well formed enough to be able to go up to the next size. Water, rooting hormone, drop it in. Oh, it's got a little bit of root on there, but I'm going to redo the compound anyway. So you can see I've got quite a few in here, but I'm going to just simply pinch that soil together and I'll put it back on top. Bring the trench back this direction. Stand them up a little bit and I'll press it down just to kind of get it seeded. Then I'll give it a good water. I'll put a tag in here so I remember what's here. This one you can see a lot more roots on it, but I'll still put some more new rooting hormone on there. And I'll keep going and we'll follow up in the spring and we'll see kind of how it looks. So we're into early October right now. I'm in zone 4. So I'll finish planting these up, get a tag, water them in, and then we'll check back in the spring. Thanks for stopping by.